Hi, this is Meredith from SheSwingsOnAStar.com, and I'm here at Boundless Yoga Studio in Stroudsburg, PA today. And we're just going to do a very short warm-up for the hips. This is going to involve some internal and external rotation of the hips, and also we're going to work on those abductors that move the legs, the hips away from the body, and the adductors, which bring them closer together to the midline. So we're going to begin. This is a seated flow. And we're just going to start with feet somewhat wider than hip distance apart. And we're just going to let those knees start to drop from side to side, just really gently, leaving both of your sitting bones down on the mat. Or you can also, as I am, sit on a blanket a bit. That's especially helpful if the back of your legs are a little bit tighter, have a little less mobility in them. You can just go at whatever pace feels good to you. And then we're going to start to bring in a little bit of a deeper movement. And for this one, you can actually let one hip bone come up off of the floor, or one side of your hips, I should say. You may notice that you start to travel a bit. I'm probably going to end up moving this blanket in a second. And I'm propping myself up with my hands here, but I'm actually going to take that away. I'm going to come into prayer hands. I'm going to try and keep your spine upright, and just let this go from side to side. You'll notice, and let me come off of this. When I come over to one side, I'm actually coming into what we call a 90-90 position, so that my hips and my knees are forming 90-degree angles. And then we're going to come over to the other side, and it's about 90-90 here too. Now, yours might be a little bit different. You're just kind of working towards that. Trying to keep the spine upright, as I said. You notice I'm traveling a little bit closer to you. That's okay. You can reset if you start to run out of room. And let's slow it down. You can even bring one side up first, and then let the other side follow along. I'm going to scoot back onto my mat a little bit here. And now I'm going to bring the hands back again, and as I come over to one side, I'm actually going to reach across with the opposite arm to get a nice twist in my spine as well. Try to remember to breathe in and out through your nose as you flow through this. And this is just a practice that you can do as a break in your day. You want to get those hips moving. Let's come back to center. I'm going to come up on my blanket again. You notice I'm wearing socks for this. That's because I actually want to be able to slide. You could do the same thing with a couple blankets and put those underneath your feet. Socks are pretty easy. If you have carpeting, you can use furniture sliders for this, or I've even used trash bags. So whatever works. Trash bags are great actually on carpet because they're giving you even more resistance. So what we're going to start out doing is, let me come forward a bit. I'm going to try to keep my spine still upright here. Neutral position. If you find that you're starting to roll into your low back and round the low back, then definitely sit up on a blanket or two. And feet are straight out in front of me, legs are straight. And I'm going to take just my left leg, and I'm going to start to slide the foot in up towards my hips, and then back out. So this is actively working the hip flexors the muscles in the front of the hips that flex them, as well as the hamstrings. And when I mention muscles, just keep in mind that it's not just that muscle that's working. Everything is always working together. You don't just move in isolation. And then I'm going to take that same leg and I'm going to bring it out to the side. So working on strengthening the abductors on the outside of the hip, and then bring that back towards midline and back down. So kind of making little semicircles here. The slower you go, the harder it gets. You could also try that in the other direction. So bringing the heel in towards the hips first, then out to the side, and back to meet the other foot. And we'll bring that one in. Let's go to the other side now. So first, just starting by bringing the heel towards the hips and back out. Really try to squeeze that heel in the closer you get to your hips. And then let's take the heel, bring it out towards the outside, and then back in towards the hip, and down to meet the other foot. You really feel the outside of the hip engaging as you bring the leg out. Try to keep the neck and the jaw soft, breathing through the nose. And then let's reverse directions. The foot comes back to the hip, to the outside, squeeze it back in. Let's do one more time on this side. Now we're going to bring both heels in, bring the soles of the feet together, come into Baddha Konasana or bound angle pose. Keep the spine nice and long, neck and shoulders relaxed. The knees come out to the side just to get a nice stretch in the inner thigh area. A few breaths here. And then bring the legs back straight again. We're going to take the left leg and we're going to come into an active flexion, external rotation to cross it over the opposite knee. And then you're going to start to bring that heel in towards the body, just to the degree that you're getting a nice stretch in the outside of the hips and thighs. Take some breaths here. Notice I'm keeping both of my feet somewhat active, somewhat flexed. This knee is kind of working outwards. And you can decide what degree of stretch is good for you. And then let's bring that leg back down, uncross, maybe shake them out a little bit. And then go into the opposite side. So lifting the foot, moving the knee outwards, and then start to draw the other foot in towards the body. Again, just to the degree that you're getting a nice stretch in the outer hip. As you get more into the stretch, you can start to bring the heel in a little more if you like, if you want to go a little bit deeper. And then start to straighten that leg, uncross the other one, and you can shake them out a little bit. I hope your hips feel nice and happy now. Thanks.